What's happening, bunnies? Welcome back to another AutoChess mobile gameplay. Today we're doing the Rook 4 grind as we progress towards our Queen ranking, and we've got a nice Divinity Mage comp set up for you guys today, so I really hope you enjoy it. If you do, don't forget to drop a like and a subscribe, and we'll see you in the gameplay. Enjoy! Alrighty, so jumping into another game now. This was a mage game, Divinity Mage game that I played the other day, and I know in the current meta the Divinity Mage isn't seen as a uber strong build, but I found the comp to work reasonably well, and I thought I'd share it with you guys. It is still usable, it's just not as strong potentially as maybe your hunters. And I think with the new updates, with the warrior nerfs, etc., we might see a bit of a comeback. But as Chaos Squirrel mentioned on his channel the other day, I think the feathered is definitely going to be the way to go at the moment. But let's jump straight in and see what it's all about. Starting off with the Soul Breaker. It's a pretty consistent piece, I think, going, you know, to start off with. Anything in the Goblin Mech range is pretty good. You can always use Divinity at a later stage, as soon as you get it, but Goblin Mech carries you through the early rounds because it's got a very nice tanky setup. Once you get the synergies going with 2 or 3 of the pieces, it's pretty strong early game. It won't last through all the way till the end, unless you get all 6 of them, but at this stage nothing wrong with starting off with that and then branching into one of the other comps. Cool, so we get our first God of War and our Shining Dragon, and I think that's where the decision starts to be made. Depending on your early stores, you can decide where you want to branch into, what sort of synergy you're going to look at building. And in this instance, having them both in the same shop just laid off a hint as to which direction we might want to go. As you can see, we've got some Glacier Knight players predominantly, and then some warriors as well, so potentially Warrior Beast, or even maybe Beast Druid coming down the line. But we're pretty comfortable with that. Taking the first 3 rounds seems to be pretty straightforward. And we've managed to pick up some nice items as well. We've got the steel plate, as well as some health and shield protection as well, so that's great.
I'm here to help.
Cool. I think also just a note, you can see that I'm already somewhat pushing or forcing this synergy, which isn't always the best idea. It makes more sense obviously at the beginning stages to keep your options open, so spend a bit more in the early rounds, unless you are 100% certain what direction you're going to go and you're getting those pieces. If you're not getting those pieces, you need to make sure that you keep your options open so that you don't restrict yourself at a later stage when it becomes more key to have a specific strategic direction. But in this instance, it seems to be going okay. Looks like we'll probably lose this one as our first loss, and that might hint at potentially looking at going into a lose streak. Again, here's another great example of where there's potential for a 3 warrior synergy with the Red Axe, the Abyssal, and the God of War. But I kind of forced my way into the Div Mage, which isn't, again, always the best idea. But I really have a bit of a tanky, strong line in terms of the front line of Goblin Mech, so I'm still comfortable in terms of where it's at. Close this thing. Great. Cool. So this is our first Glacier Knight player, Matchloy, that we're busy playing now. And he'll definitely eat through us. He's already got a Glacier and a Knight synergy with the 2 Knights and the 2 Glaciers there, so there's not much we're going to be able to stand up for there. And I think that's why after, I would say, your first 2 or 3 rounds of human rounds, you can already start making the decision that you're going to move into a losing streak as opposed to a winning streak.
I'm here to help.
And so I think that's probably the route that we're going to go in this one. We do get both our level 2s, so we've got the Shining Dragon as well as the Soul Breaker. And again, early game, most level 2 pieces are going to help you out quite a bit. You don't want to over push it, so that you lose the losing streak. You want to maintain that losing streak as far down as you need to, within limits, but as far down as you need to. Yeah, so we should lose this one as well. And I think the thing with the losing streak is obviously you need to make sure you lose, but you want to lose by as little as possible so that your HP isn't affected too badly. At this state, losing by 4, it's okay. I would have liked to take maybe 1 or 2 more of the guys out before I went down, but there's a very fine balance between overshooting that and getting the win versus getting a very small loss. So it's a bit of a risk to take. So as I say that, I put in a 2-star God of War, and again, I think this is probably not the right move at this stage. In order to maintain that lose streak, at round 7, having 3 2-stars on the board might not be the right call, and I think that you will see the results of that as this plays out. Yeah. So there we get a victory, which is actually an error. It's a misplay. I shouldn't have put the level 2 God of War on the board. I should definitely have played or continued with the Goblin mechs and just allowed the Skybreaker to hold fort for a while. This is now going to affect our economy, especially because we were spending a little bit in the early rounds. We'd prefer not to be to be winning that match. If you look at the bottom of the rest of the player list, you'll see only Hard and Mongrel are playing a losing streak as well, and they seem to be doing it right. They've maintained their losing streak, and you can see their economy is as high and higher than mine is, now both higher, and that's because they're playing it correctly. I think we definitely made a misplay by putting the God of War on. That being said, as the game progresses, the other teams will get stronger, and we should be able to continue the losing streak comfortably with the current setup that we have.
Oops, did I eat that?
You'll see that a lot of the players have leveled up already, with the exception of the 3 of us at the bottom that are playing lose streak. Everyone else has leveled up to level 5, and we hit ours now.
Killing can save a life. Trust me.
So in terms of the mage comp, I think what I generally like to run is similar to Chaos, and I think Clay runs the same thing, is a Shining Dragon with the Thunder Spirit and the Source. It's a 3 out of 6 mage comp. 6/6 is a bit hectic at the moment, but I think that's probably what we're going to go for in this, is the 3/6. The idea of running Divinity with your mage compilation is obviously to ensure that you have a very low cooldown. So the cooldown period is the time or the duration between which your ultimates can take effect. So if your ultimate goes off now, how long do you have to wait before you can use it again? And the piece obviously automates that process, but if you have Divinity synergy running, it halves that cooldown period, which is great for a mage synergy. The only difficult thing then is you can't bring any other race synergies into play. So if you look at the other mages, they also come with a human synergy like Totola Elder and Flaming Wizard. So if you bring them in, you lose that cooldown benefit, which is why I think the Thunder Spirit, the Shining Dragon, and the Source work so well together. Alright, so the other thing with losing streaks, I think you want to lose every round, but your creep rounds don't affect your streak. So it's important to win those and pick up as many items as you can. I think in this version of the game, it's still a bit RNG whether or not you get items, but this is the opportunity for you to get if you are going to. So make sure you win those rounds, very important. Now we pick up our Thunder Spirit, and as I mentioned, that's a key piece for our comp. So we will definitely pick that up. And then just maintain the front line as we have it. You can see we're still not back on a losing streak like we want to be. And the worst thing you can do is win some games, lose some games, win some games, lose some games, because your economy maintains 0. Benefit from that. you're not getting any win streak or lose streak bonus, and that's not going to help you later game. That being said, again, the bottom 3 players are running the highest economy at the moment. You can see Margol's already on a 50, which is great for him. And the idea is that we'd want to be pushing up beyond that as well.
Did you drift away?
Cool, so our lose streak's back, and it looks like only Hard won one of his matches. So that won't be ideal for him unless he's looking to come off the win streak now. But he is not spending money, so I don't think that's a huge concern in his boat. Cool, so we get the Orb of Regen on. That's going to be very useful. For any of the mages, that's a great one. I think Thunder Spirit would probably be first pick for that, because that's our area of effect, or our nuker. It's one of our key nukers for that, for the mage synergy. Cool, so this guy's already got a level 2 Fallen Witcher, which is uber powerful, along with the level 2 Swordman, so that's quite an unbeatable combo at this stage of the game. It's not gonna, there's not much that's going to be able to hold that back, so definitely expect to lose that round, but that, again, that's okay. Again, you can see we're definitely forcing a strat here. I mean, we've had plenty options of different pieces to buy, and I think the better move would probably have been to ensure that we have a usable bench, but we are forcing this strat. We really want to show off the mage synergy here, and I think that's why we haven't kept the options open. This is generally not the way to go. It's not the right way to ensure that you have your options open when you want to branch into different synergies, but I think for our purposes of this video it makes sense to at least give it a shot, and hopefully we get the mage pieces that we are looking for. This again is our Glacier Knight combo. You can see he's got a few nice pieces there already. That whole Knight at level 2 is also very strong at this stage of the game, and his synergies are looking good. He's got a nice, his Knight synergy is growing. He's already got 4 knights on the board, and he's got the glaciers going, so he'll be happy with where he is. That's match lawyer. Okay, so still no luck. Still no luck on any of the mage pieces that we're looking for. It's okay because we are, there's our source. Okay, so our source is great. That's the third piece of our puzzle, so quite happy to have all of those in. And now we're in a good position, so I think we will probably put the source on soon. Yeah, there we go. So we put the source on in. Now we've got our 3-6 mage synergy running. Again, it is still too early to be running this synergy. We have very little front line to protect us, and once they get past that, they're going to be eating through the mages super quickly. So I think because we're okay running the losing streak, and we're still acquiring more economy, we can afford to put them on a little bit earlier than we probably would. Ideally, you'd want to level the pieces up first a little bit, at least to 2-star, before you put them on. But we have reached 50 economy, and that's generally sort of the guideline around where you want to start implementing your strategy. It gives you an opportunity to roll down a little bit and level up at the same time. So as a result of that, we've managed to roll down a few times, and that's given us our level 2 Thunder Spirit, which is key for us. We can now get rid of that one Skybreaker and potentially the second one as well, because we can now put on a different piece. And Desperate Doc's great. You'll see at a later stage we want to include a Warlock synergy in there. Divinity Mage Warlock is super powerful, and once you find Soul Reaper, that works well with the Desperate Doctor, or potentially even a Ghost Prophet, and that helps you to get that Warlock synergy, and potentially Agassiz if we get the Soul Reaper and the Ghost Prophet, maybe. We'll see how it goes later game. But now we've got 4 2-star units, and we're sitting at 43 HP with 50 econ at level 6, and the idea is that we should be able to start picking up some wins soon. But it was a creep round with Wolfpack, and it's imperative to win those ones so we can pick up some more items. And then hopefully from here we might be able to start winning 1 or 2 games. This is our top placed player, as you saw there, and our second place. They're both on win streaks, and you can see they're running completely different strats to us. There's definitely a warrior demon type thing happening there. And now we have all 3 of our mages at 2-star. We open up a bit of space. I'm wondering if we didn't go Razor Claw here. Yeah, we did. So Razor Claw is one of those units you can use in almost any compilation. I don't think it's necessarily going to remain in this comp long term into the late game, unless we manage to live it up quickly, because we didn't build any Druid synergy. But that's okay. He's a nice frontline unit just to hold back the storm.
Are you sure you're
Obviously, once he brings that panda into play, that's a very strong piece to have. You'll also see he's at the back line, so if we have any assassin teams that we need to face, when they jump to the back, he'll be able to at least provide some level of protection before they can start attacking the mages directly. We do lose that one though, so although we were hoping to start our winning streak, we're still losing, and it's starting to get to a point. I think once you hit 40 HP and sort of go into the high 30s, you can already start worrying that you might have pushed your losing streak too far. You need to remember that you have to make a comeback. So when you do decide to start replaying, you need to be in a strong position. You need to make sure that you have the pieces that you want on the board and that you have them at the right level. You can't afford to lose too many more matches. Especially if you're up against like a druid team or a beast team where there's a lot of summoned units, that can hit your HP really quickly and really hard, so it's not ideal. And here we lose again. So these guys this is an assassin build, so we talked about this a little bit earlier. You saw we had the Razor Claw on there and we took him off. That was our backline defense, and in place we put a Siren. So the Siren will be great when we are able to draw the other team a bit closer to ours. The idea would be that we might want to frontline the Siren, maybe swap it around with the Desperate Doc. The idea would be to get the ultimate off as quickly as possible. Now I don't think we have any mana items on the Siren at the moment, so we need to move her forward so that she can take a bit of damage. That way she generates mana faster. And as soon as she ultimates and turns everyone into stone, our nukes can go off and we can get that area of effect damage going, which is kind of exactly how a mage strat works. Once we've got mana or some sort of level 2 or mana items on the Siren, we can protect her and move her back into the middle of the grouping. But at this stage, she needs to take a bit of damage in order to get her ultimate off. Okay, so we're on 27 HP and we've just gone down to 17, so this is cutting it way too fine. The lose streak should definitely have stopped by this stage. Also, we have not leveled up, so we're the only team on level 6. Everyone else is on 7, and I see we have one on 8 as well. And that includes our Mongrel and Only Hard, who were lose streaking with us. They've started to climb back up the ladder, and we're still sitting at the bottom with only 17 HP. We have a decent economy, but if you look at the rest of the board, or the rest of the players, the lobby is also sitting with some pretty decent economy. So we're not really at much benefit now, except that hopefully we managed to get the comp together the way we wanted. So the strategy I've used here, you'll see I put 2 Gods of War at the front line and behind them 2 2-star Thunder Spirits. And that's generally quite useful because the double ultimate from Thunder Spirit at a level 2 is uber strong. And you can see how it's taking down this Glacier team quite quickly. There goes the Siren with her ultimate, and that means that we turn them into stone and give our nukers an opportunity to get the attacks off quickly and effectively. And as you can see, that's our first victory. So our first victory comes in, I think they're at 17 HP. And I'm happy with the way that's gone. We spent a little bit of bucks just to level up to level 7 and get that second Thunder Spirit on, but it's paid dividends, and that's all that matters. Potentially we could probably get rid of the Razor Claw now. I don't think we're going to use it at this point. We are more likely to go for, I would say, a Soul Reaper, to go with the Desperate Doctor, and get that Warlock synergy in. And obviously if we can find any of the legendary pieces, that would be great. So we put the level 2 Desperate Dock in, which is also a nice tanky unit, a ranged tanky unit, but once that ultimate is super strong at the moment. So we had a bit of space in this composition earlier, and you'll see what we've done now. I think I was calling it a compilation earlier. This composition, we have now bunched it up together so that the mages don't wander off into different directions. The whole purpose of a nuking team is to have them together so that when they nuke, the area of effect is isolated, and it allows high levels of damage to happen in a very small surface area. So we don't want them all running off in different directions and ultimating in different areas. Cool, so that strange egg is great. I'm assuming we're going to use it on Siren. Yes, we do. And that level 2 Siren is now in a great place, and it's going to help us with this composition quite nicely.
I am the god of war, boy.
We want God of War away from level 3 God of War. And the other thing that will do is it'll open up a space for us. I see we have a Soul Reaper on the board now. It might make sense to lock for that, because we know when we get our 3rd God of War now and we get to level 3 and we have a free space up, that's the piece that we'll probably want to put in there. The Soul Reaper, again, just to create a Warlock synergy with the Siren, will mean that we have a Divinity Mage Warlock synergy set up, and that's a great synergy to have. Cool, so now we're going through the teams quite nicely. We just beat Mongrel, who was loose streaking with us, so quite happy. It means that either his loose streak didn't work out, or our comp is just a bit too strong at this point in time. We have used a lot of our economy. You'll see we're very low on the economy at the moment. Most of the guys are sitting around the 50 mark, and we have Nexus who's AFK, so his economy has been shooting through the roof, but that's okay. And everyone's on level 8 except for Raymond, who's on a losing streak as well. So maybe he's pushing economy up so that he can also get the level up. Great, so our ultimates are going off nicely. The God of War is holding nicely in the front, which allows further ultimates, and then Siren comes in with her ult and turns everyone to stone, which gives our nukers more time to get the damage in. I think one of the other things I learned a lot from in this game, and what I didn't do very effectively, I didn't do it well at all actually, was to continue scouting. It's very important to monitor and understand the different builds that the rest of the players are doing. And I didn't scout well in this game. You should be constantly going in, having a look at what other guys are building, making sure you understand how you're going to counter those builds. Because we were forcing strat here, we were kind of going to go with Div Mage either way, and so that forced build has lowered the amount of scouting that we've done. But in an average game, I think the scouting would definitely be a lot more than what it was in this round. Okay, so it's still going well. We haven't actually lost. We haven't lost the match because we're still on 17 HP, and our AFK players now has fallen below us, so we're no longer bottom of the table. But that doesn't really count because he is AFK. But our top player is still on 73, so the HP difference is still quite high, which means we've still got quite a long way to go to push for a top three position in this instance. Okay, so now we're just having a look-see in terms of our potential of finding one of our legendary pieces. We have reached level 8, and obviously the higher your level, the higher your percentage chance of getting one of the 5 cost pieces, and that's what we want at this point. If we had to level 3, if we had to level 3 our Thunder Spirit. Oh, okay, there we get a loss. Okay, so this guy's also playing mages. This is Papich, and you can see he's already got a God of Thunder, so he's got the full Divinity synergy happening there. And he's beaten us, which again is not ideal. Luckily it was only by 3 points. or 3 HP, which is awesome. So we're still in the game on 14, and we need to make sure that we are ready to counter that. So we spend a bit of money just to level up to 9 and bring on the Warlock synergy, which is great. And we managed to find another Thunder Spirit. There's a God of Thunder as well. Okay, so our economy is really low now. And although we just created a Warlock synergy, putting the God of Thunder in is an absolutely imperative call at this stage, because we did lose a match, and we need to make sure we don't lose anything else as far as possible. You can see how we eat through the creep rounds quite nicely, but that area of effect ultimate that God of Thunder has, his lightning strike, is insanity. So 100% will still keep the Soul Reaper in case we go to level 10, but the God of Thunder in a mage comp, can't ignore that.
Sorry.
Okay. He's at level 1. He doesn't have any mana items because we've used most of those on the other mage players or the other mage pieces. So I think we just added a wooden stick thing to him, or wooden club, so that he can at least hit faster and get his mana generation a little bit quicker than in his standard form. But hopefully he pulls off an ultimate and you can see the effect of, or the power of his ultimate. So here comes his first ult, bam. And you can see the damage that did. Almost the entire right side of the board just fell, and there comes in his second ult. I actually think there was a potential we might have lost that round if we didn't have God of Thunder in there. So I think it was imperative that we put him in, and that was against Majloy. He was running the Glacier Knight comp. He's second from the top at the moment, and then we get our level 3. So what this means is if we rank up to level 3, we have an extra space, and we could potentially put Soul Reaper in there, or Storm Shaman. So Storm Shaman's also great against any of the comps, actually, because what it'll do is it'll prevent, or it'll silence most of the units on the front line, which gives us more time to implement our nuking and get the nuking off quickly. So this is that mage team again. This is Papich. They beat us earlier, and hopefully you'll see it now. Okay, so there it comes. So that's the Storm Shaman silencing those units, and that's imperative for us. He's also got a Devastator in there now. I think he just picked it up as a good area of effect damage piece, and it did a good job there. But you can see we've definitely become much stronger as a team with the Warlock synergy, as well as having the God of Thunder in there. So we definitely the stronger mage comp at this point of the game. Also, our other two guys, Only Hard and Mongrel, who were running loose strats, they've also been struggling. You can see Only Hard's got no more no more economy, and he's now pushed down to below me on the log, to bottom of the log, and Mongrel then second to bottom, at least with some economy. We've also spent most of ours, so we're now sitting at 10 econ, and we want to get a bit more, potentially get a 10th player on, or at least level up potentially our Storm Shaman or our God of War. You don't need 3-star pieces in this comp, although obviously 3-star pieces benefit, but at the very least 2-star on each of your pieces would be great, and potentially even on God of Thunder. A 2-star God of Thunder would be an absolute victory for us. Cool, so this is Mongol. You can see he was playing a Druid Sin, and Druid is always strong. It's a ranged, Druid ranged. Okay, so probably a feathered Druid comp. And it looks like he's probably going to beat us as well. Okay. The problem with Druids is when you lose quite heavily. Number one, because it's easier to 3-star them, so you get that 3-star damage on your HP. Plus, they generally have summoned units. I think we were fortunate in that instance to only lose 6. To only lose 6 on that. And I think that brings us to 9. Yeah. Okay. So we're now sub 10 on our HP, which means basically if we lose one round, that's probably going to be the end of the journey, the end of the match. So try a reposition, swap corners. Most of the guys will build in the bottom left corner of their screen. So if you just swap over to the right hand side, that can really help. And just to change things up a bit, if you are losing in that position, repositioning is always a good option. Okay, great. So these warrior teams seem to be falling quite quickly. Between the Storm Shaman preventing the ults and the nuking, they're falling quite quickly. And there's our Magica Crystal, which is great for God of Thunder. Obviously it means that he'll be able to get his ultimate off quicker, and that's all that really matters. I mean, he's not there for his normal standard attack damage. He's there to drop ultimates, and so that's the only reason we have him there, and getting him the ability to do it faster is absolutely key. Okay, so Only Hard Mongols now out the game. Only Hard is still hanging in there barely with 1 HP and 0 econ, and we're building our econ up a little bit slowly. And then obviously these creep rounds we need to just, I think we'll probably squash them. Now you can see how quickly their HP falls, and once they're turned into stone, I think it's just over for them from that point. I don't even know if we lost a piece there, but that was a definitive win. And there's our second to last Thunder Spirit. So one more and we managed to get Thunder Spirit to level 3. And that'll give us space for the Soul Reaper. Okay, so we've been up against Papich, and this is the other mage comp that we had earlier, the one with the Devastator on the back line. And we both have God of Thunder, but he has it at a level 2. Surprisingly, we still managed to take the victory, and I think this is, do we take the victory? Yeah, we do. This is predominantly because of the other two pieces, the Siren and the Storm Shaman. I think between the two of them, through the silencing and through the turning into stone, that's an absolute win against a mage comp, because they generally tend to be clustered quite close together, and so the area of effect is quite impactful when it comes to versing a mage comp. So we take Storm Shaman out, and I think the only reason we did that is because the Soul Reaper is now at level 2, and it gives us that Warlock synergy with a strong piece. So he's great frontline if you are playing Mage, because again it helps his mana generation to increase quite drastically. And so when you go up against a team like this, although he does have a level 3 Fallen Witcher, which is uber strong, hopefully we still manage to, those nuking ultimates from God of Thunder and the Thunder Spirits are just insane. So there's hectic damage output from those. So that was the guy in second, the Russian guy in second.
Sounds like victory to me.
The HP is now drawing very, very close. The range of HP is really small. So on top we've got 18, bottom we've got 1. So everyone's in the teens or less, in the single or double digit teens or less. So it's going to be a close match. It's going to be a very, very close match. We have been winning most of the games though, so in a reasonably happy place. And Magloy is now on a losing streak with no economy, which means he's not in a good place. He's not going to be happy with where he is, and he could fall out quite easily. And now we face him on our board, so let's see how that goes. He's got the Fortune Teller in there, so that's going to help prevent his clan from dying. But again, once the God of Thunder ultimates, I think that is there's not much that you can do with that. And there comes Siren as well. So definitive.
Candle in the wind.
Okay, Only Hard's out as well, and he was also running, if you remember, he was also running losing streak. So all the losing streak players are out, and we left with the guys Papich, Magloy, and the Russian guy were they've been top 3 for most of the game. Cool, so there was a change of positioning there. You can see I moved everyone to the front line, and the idea is again to get them closer to the action. They need to be receiving damage quicker, so that they generate mana quicker and thereby get the ultimates off quicker. It's key for a nuking team. So just that one step forward that you take to reach the front line of the other players adds time. It adds time that could be the difference between winning or losing a round. So pushing them to the front line is imperative. Plus, I've got the 10th piece on the board now, so I've obviously leveled up, used the econ or saved the econ that I needed, used it, and now I'm able to have the full comp with the Storm Shaman, the Soul Reaper, and the Siren on the board. And that's a very strong comp to have with Mage. So quite comfortable with where we are. The Russian man has fallen, and now Pappage and myself are both on winning streaks. On the 5 streak, it looks like. Take down the dragon quickly. And that's interesting. So we're both on winning streaks. I'm pretty sure we've both faced each other, which means that we are winning on our boards and losing on the other players' boards, it shows you how close the teams are. It's coming down to RNG, and that's quite tricky. Cool. So with 10 players on the board, I think what we're looking for now is obviously that level 3 Thunder Spirit would be great. But against Magloy, we know we've been winning most of these matches. He does have the level 3 Hell Knight in there now. And he's putting up a good fight in this one. I think we do manage to climb through. Once God of Thunder gets his ults off, there's little that can be done there. So Magloy is out, and we're actually facing Pappage on his board, as you can see at the moment. And the idea is, yeah, so you can actually see he's won that match on his screen, which puts a bit of doubt in our minds because we know we have to face him now, and we've only got 9 HP. So it's imperative to us that we manage to beat him. And I think that level 2 Storm Shaman is going to help the cause. Make sure all our items are on the board, but he should be able to silence. He should be able to silence this the mage effects of some of these players. You can see he's right close to them. So let's just see if he gets his ultimate off. He does, and that's going to silence them, which gives us time to nuke. So you can see immediately the impact that's had. He does have the level 3 Tusk on the front line there, but that's not going to be able to hold it through the nuking damage of it. So that just shows you the impact that a Storm Shaman can have. If he gets his ult off quickly and prevents the nukers from getting their stuff off, then you're in a very good position. So he can be quite key to a mage setup, or especially going against a mage setup. Okay, so now that we see another God of Thunder, I think we're probably thinking, let's ditch the 3-star Thunder Spirit and potentially get a 2-star God of Thunder. And the reason for that decision is because if you look at how the ultimates are going now, having 2 Thunder Spirit ultimates going off one after the other is actually making a good impact. So maybe having the 2 stars is worthwhile at this stage. And you can see it's done the damage, and Pappage has fallen off on his board. He's lost the match, and we get our 8 streak and the game victory. Okay, so it was a great match to watch, and I hope you guys picked up a couple of things, and I've picked up a lot through this gameplay of things that I need to improve on and things that I need to do better. But definitely between the Soul Reaper, the Siren, and the Storm Shaman, it makes a huge difference, not just getting your 3 mage synergy, but understanding the other pieces that need to go through as support units to ensure that your mage can nuke in time. And hopefully that's something that you managed to pick up through this match. I think we'll have a quick look at the comps that we're running. Yeah, so this was part of the Rook 4 grind going to Rook 5, and that 34 points helps. Okay, so I really hope you enjoyed this clip. If you did, please don't forget, like downstairs there, and subscribe same time, and we'll check you in the next gameplay. You can see how similar our builds were, but I think it all came down to having the right pieces. The Storm Shaman and the Warlock synergy seems to have done a big difference. Anyway guys, we'll check you soon. Hope you guys enjoyed, and we'll see you in the next video. Enjoy. Cheers.